So what did you, when you've been, I mean, like I said, you've worked with thousands of students, what have you noticed when students came to you? What did you see was missing in the students learning how to draw? And that's when you started applying your own techniques and helping them get to understand what they're drawing. So all the students who came to you, what did you see was missing in them learning how to draw, and what did you introduce? What was that gap that helped you connect them to learn how to draw?
Well, I'll give you an example of the doctor, the GP that I'm teaching. He's a very good example. He wanted to fly before he could walk. And what I do, which I think it helps me and the students, he wanted to specialize in portraiture. So it's a very good example. So I put a photograph in front of him, and I said, a color photograph, and I said, look, just draw this. And I didn't guide him. And through that, I could see what he desperately needed. And by the way, you know, I teach people how to paint from a photograph, a color photograph, and then we go into, and he, once again, he was in fantasy land.
Fantasy land.
You know, yeah, it's, and then the reality of, okay, well, he first shaded before he plotted the features in place. And he looked at me and I said, I'm not judging you. I'm just asking you to draw the way you think it should be. I mean, obviously things were out of proportion. The tones were totally out. And that's converting from that's doing a monotone, a monochromatic drawing, translating from color to black and white as well, because then you can see if they understand, you know, the different tonal values. And eventually, you know, he said, oh no, I'm sweating and I'm under pressure. I said, no, that's fine, but now you've shown me what you need. You know, we need to break this down and eat the elephant one little chunk at a time, one, you know. And I think that's mainly what the students, from my experience, they want to just swallow that elephant whole in one fell swoop, one session.
So if we explain what that means,
break things down.
So if we explain what that means when you talk about, you know, eating the elephant one chunk at a time. So for those who probably have done drawing before, what you do is you immediately start, if we ask you to draw a picture, you immediately start and go and say, draw the eye on a face, and you go and do all the detail in that eye, and then you would then go move on to the other eye, then you'd go on to the nose, possibly then the mouth, then you'd go maybe onto the face, and you've done all this detail, and then you start shading, then you're not happy with it, and you start rubbing out, and then you then try and work out the next stages, and then you just say, oh, it's not in proportion. So what we're talking about when we're talking about what do we notice was missing, what was the gap, and obviously how you taught me, Mom, was basically how to show the size of the whole face and how to fit it on the paper before you even start. So it would be, for instance, you would be drawing an oval shape first for the head. You'd go back to universal shapes. You'd press lightly. Then you'd lightly make placement of where those organs are going to be, but you'd use very, very basic universal shapes. Then once you've got that basic placement of where you see all those shapes in place, then you would look at the light direction. You see, okay, so the light direction is coming from this end. Then you'd start working out mathematically that pressures of the hand are going to change in certain areas, And then you would then look at edges, and you'd see where actually in our eye we see every single hair piece. So we would actually go and draw every single hair piece, and we teach people not to go and draw every single hair piece, because our eyes, or not our eyes, but our brain is lying to us, and our eyes are going, but I'm seeing what my brain's telling me, not what I'm not drawing what I actually see. So this is the gap that I realized what you were teaching me. What is missing in learning how to draw is that people are either just left to do what you say, now, can you just go ahead and draw? And they're not being shown the why it's best to start from the basic universal shapes, and how that's actually going to save time. Because I remember you teaching me that if we don't learn about measurements from the beginning, which is your maths, then you are going to do this whole painting, set yourself up for failure, and it's not going to fit on the painting, and then you're just going to give up. And you almost are kind of walking around saying that you've got a degree as a doctor, but you haven't even gone to your first module of learning how to be a doctor. So then that's when you hit rock bottom, and then really give up on things.
Yeah. So just to add what you said, so a person who comes and they want to learn how to draw, and I leave them to their own devices first, and 99.9% of the time they draw what they think they see instead of drawing what they see.
So then they're not taught how to draw what to see.
What they see, yeah.
So basically,
and that's all it is.
That's the gap, isn't it? That's the gap. So people are not taught to draw what they see. Yeah. They're left to draw what they think they see. And obviously, like you say, the first lesson you need to see what their capability is, because what they're drawing is they're drawing what they think they see.